So I just read Court of the Blind King by David Guymer, and it was pretty cool. The book tells the story of Lurien, an arrogant, greedy internet elf with a talent for, well, bullshitting himself out of difficult situations. See, Lurien's mother was the ruler of the biggest city in the internet territory where the book takes place. She died, however, and a big warlord usurped the throne right out of Lurien's grasp. During the story, Lurien forges unlikely alliances, collects magical artifacts, and all in all sets himself up to kick the warlords from the throne and claim well what he, considers at least, is rightfully his. In a way, the story feels very much like a typical RPG story, where you loot and level up to defeat the final boss after completing all of the side quests. It even has those telltale "he will remember that" moments. Whether this is a good or a bad thing kinda depends on you, on what you want to get from this book. If you're looking for just a fun story to take your mind off things, some light reading if you will, well then this might be the Age of Sigmar book for you. If you were expecting a very clever, funny or emotional novel, then this is definitely not it. The RPG plot type, as I'll call it for now, makes the book very predictable, and I think it could have been executed a little better by adding some more depth to the plot, especially because some parts create a setup for future consequences on which the book often fails to capitalize. Regardless, I also found it quite fun to just see the main character power up, because it reminded me of playing games like that in the past. Not to mention the book was fast paced and it never dragged on because, well, the more shallow plot. One thing I feel the book handled a bit weirdly though was the main character himself. The book sometimes outright states that Lurien's character has developed, but his actions remain exactly the same as at the start of the book. Lurien is a bit like an addict who constantly tells everyone this time will be different, but in the end nothing really changed. Maybe this is supposed to be the idea of the book, but it didn't really work that well for me at least. Another thing that might be great for some, while being a downside for others, is the language. This book has a lot of internet speak in it, combined with a lot of uncommon English words and sentences. So if you aren't a native English speaker, or you haven't read the Internet Battle Tome, this book can be a bit hard to read at times. On the other hand, the use of so many internet terms and also the use of a lot of new internet words and sayings makes this book great if you want to roleplay as an internet, or if you want to write some backstory for your internet army. And that really is where the book shines in my opinion. David Guymer's amazing imagination never lets the reader down, and this book is no exception to that. It's not just the language, but also the mannerisms, the culture, the architecture, the beasts and more. For role players, lore nerds or fanfiction writers, this book is a wet dream. There are so many cool details that Guymer managed to fit into this book that there's really no point in trying to list them, as then this video would last, well, forever. Just to give one example I really liked is that the internet always tried to suppress emotions because they want to hide from the Dark Prince. Logical, seeing how he ate their souls and well tortured them for millennia. But because of that, the internet are extreme introverts and almost see touching someone as one of the most horrific things you could possibly do, visibly recoiling even at the idea of someone brushing against their skin. Another fun thing is that the internet don't bleed because the water pressure is greater than their blood pressure. All of this kinda makes me want to categorize this book as a book for the more advanced Age of Sigmar reader. Because if you don't know anything about the internet before reading, you'll not only miss a lot of details, but also struggle to understand what's going on at times. While at the same time, this book can be a great change of pace from the more grim dark plots of the other Warhammer books. All in all, I'm giving this book 4 out of 5 Black Library stars, with a little side note. For Deepkin lovers, this book is a must-read, but also for other Age of Sigmar fans that are looking for some light reading to keep them afloat in these dark times, this is a solid choice. On the other hand, for people that are not familiar with Age of Sigmar lore, or for the people with only a limited grasp of the English language, well then this is definitely not the book for you. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Bye!
If you like this video, please consider subscribing and click ringing the bell to appease the Great Horned Rat. For more lore content, please check my main channel and leave any book recommendations in the comments down below. I gotta get back to reading the next book.